Alex Romero, are you still around? Hello. That's a little better. Hold on.
What?
Whoops.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I should change that. I need to change that. Because one is a lot. How do I change that? Where are we at? This. Can I change that to F1? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, let's do that. Well, that sucks, okay. How you guys doing? I hope you can hit that like button for me one time. How do I keep, oh my goodness. I don't know why I keep putting this DVD stuff here. GOD. There you go, God save. All right. Might not be a long stream today. But I did say I was going to stream, so I want to be more consistent. Lefty, how you doing, man? He's obviously not real. In stream, finished in stream. Well, actually, it's the name of a video I was going to watch. But somebody else said, Alex said God is indeed real. So you got some conflict there, brother. In stream. All right, see you later, man. That's it. In stream. See y'all guys later. That's it. Bye-bye. That's it. Yeah. Susan. Hello. You have some stuff you like to say to the people about if God, you want to give your perspective on God, if he's real or not. Here's the like to hear from you. Here's the link. Come in and give us your perspective on what you think about God. Lefty says it's for sure real. Lefty says it's not real. I'm sorry, but Alex, somebody came before I even started the stream. It's like, no, brother, you got it all wrong. God is most definitely real. You know. But before we get going, I want to watch this video. Let me do this video first before we do much anything. This is this video is people tell a pastor why they don't believe in God. So there's some other people that don't believe. Now, I don't know which one of these young ladies. Okay, you not see my My cursor not showing. One of these young ladies is a pastor. Let me make sure I got the, yeah, okay. You see my cursor? I want to see my cursor. I don't see my cursor. That just sucks. Oh, you know what? Hold on just a second. Let me check something too. I'm alerts.
Yeah, boy!
Okay, well, at least that works. Okay, all right. Let's get into this video. I wanted to check that real quick. Let's get into this. This again, people tell a pastor why they don't believe in God. Let's do it.
I don't personally believe, right? But it's like, that doesn't mean that we can't live the same way.
Hey there, I'm Erica Campbell. I'm a singer, a songwriter. I'm a mom, a wife, and all-around cool chick. So today I'm sitting down with people from different ends of the faith spectrum. We're just gonna have a healthy conversation. Can't wait to
Good
get into it.
stuff.
I'm really excited.
My name is Josh, and I am a former Christian.
Hi, I'm Emily, and
Hey, what's up, Jen? I was actually a bit afraid to say, but I'm pretty much an atheist. Hey, you can say, hey, this is a safe environment here. All views are welcomed. All views are welcomed here, Jen. Welcome. And so yeah, I mean, people are probably considering me an atheist as well, Jen. I don't label myself that, but people probably would because I don't believe in any gods. But we're gonna watch this video to see. Well, see Emily. See Emily's an atheist as well. So let's get into it again.
I identify as an atheist.
My name is Nina, and I identify as agnostic.
I was raised in a very
check
strict
out that
Mormon
that
household. I
mustache.
was the very first one in my family to leave the church. I have been a happy non-believer ever since.
I guess technically I was raised in the Catholic faith, kind of by default. We went to church sometimes on Christmas, usually like weddings or funerals, something like that.
I grew up lightly Hindu. We're like culturally Hindu, but
Lightly.
I kind of came to the conclusion that like whether or not there is a God or there isn't a God, like it has no bearing on like how I live my life.
I don't think she'll be able to in any way convert me suddenly back.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous.
Like I hope I don't say anything to offend
If there are any
her.
pastors out there, please join. I'd like to talk to any pastors.
Josh.
I'm Erica.
I'm Emily.
Erica.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hey.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
You're Nina?
Yes, I'm Nina.
Erica. Nice to meet you. So I'm a Christian. How would you identify?
Atheist,
Atheist.
non-believer.
So do you believe that like there's no God or there's something out there? and you don't know what it is?
Non-believer. That's
Nothing.
I identify as an atheist.
If like agnosticism and atheism is like a spectrum, I'm like somewhere in it.
I think that when we die, it's lights out, and that's the blissful end to all of it.
Is that
And
bliss though? Like
It
that?
is.
So let me ask you a question.
that's life. Like, okay, so I don't. Here's the thing, right? I don't identify at all, right? This is my thing. I know she asked how do they identify. Here's the I don't even accept that. I mean, I don't even believe that. I don't even think I should identify. I think of a God as like unicorns or Santa Claus. I just don't think about it at all, really. You know, unless I'm streaming because it's interesting because a lot of people do. So, and only reason that people will say, how do you identify is because so many people believe in this so-called God claim. But to me, I just think it's another, I think it's illogical way of thinking to me. And that's not to belittle anyone. I just don't think if you don't have sound reason to believe, then how is that logical? So, and that's just my opinion, you know, and like everybody has opinion, but like I tell everybody, don't ever listen to me. But again, I just don't really identify. So if somebody asks me, that's why I would say people would say I'm an atheist, but I don't claim to be an atheist or anything because I don't even accept any of the claims of a God. Like people, like there's no terminology for people who don't believe in unicorns or people who don't believe in fairies or things like that. So why isn't there terminology for that? You know? So I don't even get involved in identifying, you know.
What do you believe exists beyond the universe? Like the area where our minds kind of exist, not the human, not the tangible.
I don't think that exists either.
You don't?
I don't. I think that everything that exists is what exists right here, right now, in this moment, in your body.
I was raised in the Catholic community. I just remember the first thing we talked about was Adam and Eve, and I just remember being like, that's just like a little story.
Culturally, we're Hindu. Personally, for me, it felt like a lot of the stories of it, they're just like stories. There's a lot of like people with multiple arms and like angels are blue, which is like not real.
So I was raised Mormon. My mom helped run the Relief Society. My dad was a bishop for a long time. My grandpa was a bishop. I was the very first member of my family to walk away from it all.
How they
And
respond to that?
not well at first.
I grew up similar to you, but mine was a Pentecostal church called the Church of God in Christ.
How you doing, Love? Love, of course there's a creator. We are connected by spirit. Okay, Love, let me ask a couple of questions if you don't mind. Welcome, first of all. Like, what do you mean there's a creator? How do you know that we were actually created? Like, I ask people this, how do you not know the elements that needed for us to exist already didn't exist, right? How do you know we were created or there was something that created us? And also, what is a spirit? But just, you don't have to answer those questions. But if you wanted to, please feel free to answer those. Like, what is a creator, first and foremost? Like, how do you know there is one? And then what is a spirit?
My father was a preacher. My mom was over the choir. But there was a lot of things that didn't always make sense to me, like why we were so poor. If you live for Jesus, everything's supposed to work out right, But the same way, I wouldn't doubt
Right.
love because people have gotten love wrong. And that's kind of how I feel about God. And I think it's very reassuring to me that after this is over, there's something greater. So most people who don't believe there was some, traumatic church experience or some long line of this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. Okay, y'all don't make sense, so maybe he doesn't make sense.
I do find fault with like Catholicism in general.
We're not really like practicing, so we weren't like praying or like studying or anything. And so I just kind of like fell away from that as a religion.
I got kicked out of Sunday school because I was arguing with the teacher about the age of the earth. In 6 days, 6,000 years, I'm like,
Right. Now, I've heard people say that the earth is only between 6 and 12,000 years old. Science estimates the earth to be over 4 billion, maybe 4.5 billion years old. So, and I don't know if the Bible, or if you believe in the Bible or the Quran or the Torah or any religious books, I don't know if any of them give exact dates on the earth, but I know the earth is older than 6,000 years old. You know what I'm saying? So that's, like when people say that, I'll be like,
What?
Oh, crap, hit the wrong
Bro,
button.
what are you talking about, man?
Oh, wait a minute. I don't want that button to do that. Hold on. If that's going to do that, we're going to try another button. How about the alt?
What?
Yeah. There
Bro,
we go.
what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, that's what I say when somebody says the earth is only 6,000 years old, I say, oh, wait a minute, it didn't work. Did I close it? Oh, you sapsucker, I closed it. Hold on. Let's do this again. Yeah, how do you explain dinosaurs, right? I don't think they would believe in dinosaurs, Susan. If you think the earth is only 6,000 years old, like he was saying, like I know there's some people I've heard people say that. Let me make sure.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, that's what I say. But let's get back into this. It's a good video.
I grew up in a church where
That's what he asked.
secular music was
And
a sin.
that's what he asked too.
but dinosaurs.
I grew up in a church where
But
secular music
dinosaurs.
was a saying. Everybody was the devil. You can't interact. It's gonna infiltrate you.
My mom, her favorite saying growing up was that the devil gets to you in little ways.
Yes.
Like the first time I wanted a mohawk at 9 years old, she was like, devil gets to you through your hair. Like,
Yeah.
The devil gets
Got
through
really
you.
lucky and I have like great parents, and they were like, be kind, be a good person, like help each other out, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I feel like my moral compass
It's good.
I hope so. I think so. I'm working on it.
the core of Mormon belief is the Holy Bible.
Hold on, what is that?
What? defense in the league. And like bro, what are you talking about, man?
Hold on a second. I got some background. Oh.
Today, if they had a chance to win, this
Oh man. Hey man, you in? Let me mute you. Can you mute?
Oh, what's that? My bad. I didn't know.
Oh no, you good, man. You good. I appreciate you, bro. I was like, what is this background? Thanks for joining, my brother. All right, okay. We're gonna have some people talk about their, their beliefs, hopefully here in a minute. But let me finish this video.
The King James Version specifically. Yeah. Every time I read something, what I saw was a twist for human gain.
Mm-hmm. I know all the same stories and I had the very same questions. And what I feel like, what I know the Bible is, it is all an example of how crazy and chaotic our world is. If you believed in God, what would that look like to you?
I feel like if there was a God, I think it would be something like kind of unimaginable that I couldn't like process as a human being.
Do you believe in life after?
I don't. Before I was like, I don't know, maybe like raw energy, like what happens to us when we're dead, like, and nobody knows. And that's the crazy thing, right? And, but very recently, actually, my twin brother passed away this summer. And so I've been, thank you, but I've been, like searching for him and I've been like trying to be kind of like open, like if it is like a thing, like please freaking talk to me, you know what I mean? And like, I haven't felt it. I haven't felt him, I haven't seen him. And so that kind of for me was like, okay, like he's just dead.
She seems like she might be open, like she on the fence. She like, one spotlight or one accident away, she might be like, hey, there is a God. Oh no, it's good, man. Man, you good, brother. You good. That was that was if you wanted to come in and talk and everything. I guess I probably should here's also that was the video link. If you want to join video, here's the other link if you just want to chat in Discord, and I respond to you. I respond to things in Discord there as well. Okay, you there. Okay, I got you. You're in there. I got you. Appreciate you, man. All right, let me get back into this. Like I said, she seems like she might be on the fence.
And that's, something that I'm just kind of like, okay, like I'm just never gonna see him again. He's still, with me every day and I think about him every single day. But it's like, I just, I was open for it. And I still am, like if something were to happen or whatever, but like, me thinking about him every day and remembering him and everything that I do, it's like, I feel like that for me is like enough,
Every time I look at any form of organized religion, the only thing I see is division. More wars have been fought over religion than anything else.
Yeah.
Whereas when I look at a world with no religion, everyone has to own up.
Let me say this, right? I know we say wars have been fought over religion. And again, I think these, like the book of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, all these books, these are just books, right? The killing and slaughtering is people interpreting these books in a certain way, thinking that they are, I believe they think that they are better than you. If like, I've been reading a book, Race in North America. I say this book all the time. It's a good book. It tells you how people use certain like Christianity to make you think, to say that they were pure and you were savages. If you didn't believe in Christianity, then they were pure and you weren't. So, you deserve to be less than or treated less than that. Jacob A., my mom has met Jesus. I do believe he has saved me so many times. Okay, man. Oh, stream got suspended. How about that? Just I was getting some good stuff too, man. That was good, man. All right, let's go to about this one.
God created.
That was a good vid. Let me see if it'll come back. Hold on. Wow. Is he gonna come back? I don't know if it's gonna come back. All right, I think we're back now. We're back. Maybe we're back. Hey, sometimes you watch videos, they won't let you watch them. They won't let you watch them. We ain't got much. I'm going back. I'm going back to that video. We're gonna see if it'll do it again. Oh, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. I don't think we had much left.
I don't personally believe, right?
I think we had. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see.
Girl, ask everything.
Let me see.
There'll
Let's
probably
see.
be a lot of general, just like whys.
But he cares about you, and that's what I know for sure. Yes, you. What makes you happy? What makes you sad?
I feel so small. And like the concept of a God, it feels so big, like I said, and I feel so small, and it seems impossible to me that.
Now she says the concept of a God feels so big, but I just believe, yes, Susan, I just believe that God did it again. Okay, crap. Either way, that was a good vid. I enjoyed that video. All right.
Created everything. So
Oops. I tried. That's okay. That's okay. Let's see if it'll come back. I'm not on it now. I'm not on it. I'm not even displaying it. I'm not even showing it. I'm on another vid. I'm on another video. Not even showing that video. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What?
That's what I say. What?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Just a sec. Man. Come on, YouTube. You ain't got to do it like this, cuz. You don't have to do it like this. I tried. Actually, minimize this. Hello. Oh man, let me do that. Yeah, okay. It takes about 30 seconds or so, man. I tried. That's okay. I got another one. About the same length. I got another one. But that was interesting. That few those few minutes were interesting enough, right? Like Susan said about dinosaurs, right? If you believe, I would like to ask, like Jacob, I don't know if you're here or if anybody else here that believes, if you believe the Earth is only 6,000 years old, and if so, what about dinosaurs? It's a good question. But I'm gonna move right into the next video that I got here. Well, Ali Dawa, I think he might be, let me give him a like. Yeah, he might be Muslim. I wish M7 was here or Michelle was around, and he might could see a little bit of this one. Well, let me do something here. YouTube does not want me to do anything. They don't want to see me shine around here. They don't want to see me shine. All right. Right into the next one. All right, and where's my, okay. Go back here. I want to make sure if it goes off again, I need to know. All right. Ali Dawa answers the toughest atheism questions only in 1 minute. Okay. Well, let's see. It might go off again. I don't know. We don't know. Let's see.
God created everything. So who created God?
You believe in God. So scientists couldn't figure it out, but you could. Is that right?
If there is infinite time,
Yeah.
why not infinite possibilities?
The moment he creates that, he becomes not powerful because he can't lift it. There's no such thing that exists. There was a study done in Oxford University by Justin Barrett. He found that young kids who are not taught about Islam or Christianity or any other religion, they all had the inclination to believe in one God.
Ali Dawa, you have 1 minute for each question.
You ready?
Are you ready?
That's going to be impossible.
Can you prove God's existence in 1 minute?
Let's look at Google. In order for Google to exist, we need the internet. In order for the internet to exist, we need the computer or our telephones or our tablets. In order for the computer to exist, there has to be human beings that create it, and etc. It relies on electricity. The question follows is the following. Google relies on the internet relies on the computer relies on us and electricity, and this goes on. We cannot have an infinite regress of dependent things. We require a place where it all stops and makes sense, which is the independent, self-sufficient, necessary being, which is God.
Why can't
Hold on right there. Okay, we were talking about this last night. If God is like perfect, being perfect means he's self-sufficient. So I don't get how he jumps from the internet. Google needs the internet. So I guess the universe therefore needs God. I don't know how you get that. That's a leap. That's a leap of astounding proportions. I'm just saying. I don't. He still didn't prove it. Right. That was a stretch. There's a lot of stretching going on, man. These people probably should do yoga or something, but that's a stretch. Why can't the necessary being be the universe? That's the thing I ask, right? Like, why? Like when people say there's a creator, like why is it the universe? Are you saying the universe is the creator, or are you saying there's some other entity that created everything? But I don't know. Let's see. Let's continue.
the necessary being be the universe?
Well, that's good that you say that, because first it shows that you acknowledge with me that we require a necessary being. That's good. All you've done is applied this to the universe. And we say that contradicts the necessary being, because the necessary being is independent, self-sufficient, and is necessary. The universe is not self-sufficient and dependent.
Well, you see right here, how does he know that? And then you had to prove that, like, and then how do you know the universe is not self-sufficient? Like, where does this knowledge come from, right?
It's opposite. So you can't have this be that, because it contradicts.
Can God create a rock that he can't lift?
I mean, this is an invalid question. When people ask this question, it's like a valid question. I can ask the question, can God cease to exist? Of course not. It's contradictory. It's like me saying, how many days in a week? Yes or no? Yes or no? It's not a yes or no question. I have to ask how many days of a week? 7. So the point is the question is invalid. So
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Okay, I'm confused, bro. Can God create a rock that he cannot live? He said it's an invalid question. Okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna stop stopping it, but this is mind-blowing already.
Say, can God create a rock so big that he can't lift? Then the moment he creates that, he becomes not powerful because he can't lift it. There's no such thing that exists. It's just a question that is asked for the sake of it.
Can't there be more than one creator?
No, because then we go back to the argument of necessary being. If there was more than one creator, then the question is, how could you have one necessary being which is self-sufficient, independent? If there is another creator, then it's dependent. It's not necessary anymore. So the question is, if there was 2 creators, firstly Allah says in the Quran, they would fight each other for power. Yeah? So that shows 2 powers fighting each other are dependent because they require more power to kill the other one. So that's why we believe there has to be one necessary being that is self-sufficient, independent, and necessary.
God, I still don't get this necessary part, and again, a perfect being. If you, from my perspective, if you're saying that God is a perfect being, then and he's self-sufficient, why does he feel the need to create anything? Then they're not at all perfect, right? They can't be perfect. God can't be perfect. If he needed to create something, that means he felt he was excuse me. He felt that he needed something, so he obviously is not perfect. And then if like, again, I hadn't read much of the Quran, but from what I talked with Michelle last night, he doesn't sound perfect in the Quran, and he for sure doesn't sound perfect in the Bible, because if he was a perfect being, he wouldn't feel the need to kill anything, right? And then he created imperfect creatures. You know what I'm saying? If you're fighting, you're not perfect, of course. Hey, One, how you doing, man? Welcome. It's just, you know, that logic just doesn't add up, right? You can't square that circle.
God created everything. So who created God?
Well, the question is invalid. Once again, it's an invalid question. Just because somebody asks
again.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What? It's an invalid question. I ask that question all the time. Who created God? Because he said the universe is not self-sufficient. So how is God self-sufficient? He hadn't explained how God is self-sufficient. Oops. Go back.
Ask this question doesn't mean it's a valid question, because what we say is we see cause and effect within our universe. It requires a designer. To come and say who created that designer is you haven't understood who the designer is. It goes back to the issue of the necessary being. What's the attribute? It's independent. It is self-sufficient. It is necessary. If you acknowledge these attributes, just three things, you need to acknowledge that the question of who created God, can God make a rock so big he can't lift, can God cease to exist, are questions that are not valid. It doesn't exist. The question you're asking, there's no such thing. Because if there was a God that created him, then he becomes dependent now. He's not self-sufficient anymore. So what we say is that this creator, as long as this necessary being is independent, is self-sufficient, is necessary, everything stops there.
Why Islam when there is many other religions?
Well, that's the question I asked myself before I came to Islam. Why Islam? And when I did my research and what I was born with the fitrah, there was a study done in Oxford University by Justin Barrett. He found that young kids who are not taught about Islam or Christianity or any other religion, they all had the inclination to believe in one God, not two.
Yeah, he hasn't really, to me, proved anything yet. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. He hasn't proved a God, a creator, why this God exists, why is it self-sufficient, why is it necessary? And, you know, I wish that they would, you know, ask some follow-up questions. But again, I think it would all just go in, Susan, he would just go in circles. We would just be going in circles, talking in circles. You know, I understand that.
Not free. So to me, I had that in myself to believe in one God. But the question was, why Islam? I asked the same question to myself. And when I looked into it, I realized true monotheism in its true sense. Because if you go to the Christians, they say we're monotheists. And they believe three in one. You go to the Hindus, they say we believe 1 million gods is one. The point is this, pure monotheism in his worship and understanding of who God is only in Islam. Not only that, also when it comes to the Quran, it is the only scripture on this planet that is being preserved and has miracles that we can see. For example, if I go to a Christian and I say, look, I want to believe in Christianity, show me, you say Jesus gave life to the dead and this, that, with the permission of God, show me. Or if you go to the Jews and say Moses did that, show me. Can they show you? No, they can't. If they come and say to us, what's the miracle of the Quran? We'll say, here's the Quran and we can show you, touch it. You can feel it, you can analyze it. Why? Because also we learn from this, the Quran.
Wait, what? Now, here's another thing. I know I learned from Michelle yesterday that they do believe Jesus was a prophet. So are they saying Jesus wasn't a prophet? And if Jesus isn't a prophet, then that makes the Quran, you know, a little contradictory, I believe. So he got some questions. Yankees, treat yourself to a Grizzlies hat. Oh no, I just like, you know what? I like the logo, the Yankees logo. I don't like the Grizzlies logo, man. Plus, I'm gonna be honest, the only team I probably keep up with is the Lakers. I've never been a Grizzlies fan. You know, I hope, you know, it'd be nice if they make it to a championship or something. That'd be cool. But you know, I don't really keep up with the Grizzlies. Like if I get to a Grizzlies game, last Grizzlies game I went to, it was against the Lakers, and I was rooting for the Lakers. But you know, I wish them all the best, man.
Quran is for all mankind, and you can see it, you can hear it, you can examine it. But the miracles that the other prophets done, you can never prove that. That's why that was for that time specifically. And the Quran is for all times, because we have a method, an oral tradition, which is the Quran, which we and many generations after us can examine. And that's what I did before I came to Islam. I examined it, I read it, I looked at the prophecies,
Look. I'm sorry, I thought it knocked me out again. Nashville Predators. Yeah, I don't even know what the Nashville Predators logo is, man. Plus, I bought this hat. I bought this hat years ago, man. I hadn't bought another hat in a while. It's been quite a while. I might have an Atlanta hat, a Braves hat, but yeah, and I don't even watch baseball or keep up with it at all.
I looked at the miracles. I said, this can be no other than by from Allah.
You told us that there are miracles of the Quran.
Yeah.
Can you please just tell us one miracle of the Quran?
This will be good.
I'm going to be generous here. I'm going to give you 3. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, you have to be generous sometimes in life, you know. The first one is, I think, very profound and very important, because what we are told, for example, that in Surah Balad, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Abu Lahab. And this is very interesting, because Abu Lahab could make one statement and the whole of Islam will fall on the ground. Allah says in the Quran about Abu Lahab and his wife that they are going to enter the fire, hellfire. They're going to die as disbelievers and enter the hellfire. Now, if you think about it, Abu Lahab, he had to do one thing and disprove Islam. Because the Quran declares you're going to go hellfire, you and your wife, and you're going to die as a disbeliever. So the thing is this, they could have gone, Abu Lahab could have said, hold on a second, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. There you go, your religion is false. Because your religion says I'm going hellfire, your religion says I'm going to die as a disbeliever. I accept Islam. He didn't do it. He died as a disbeliever. To me, that is profound. Because he had to do one statement to disprove the whole. They wanted to stop Prophet Muhammad, yeah, with everything. He just had to do 10 seconds of the Shahada and crumble the whole religion. He did.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. I don't know what a prophecy is. I've never seen anybody prophesy like I could prophesy it's going to rain tomorrow. Now, would that make me a prophet? Or like the Simpsons or Family Guy, don't they predict a lot of things? Now, are they prophets? This is the question I have with anybody that believes in prophecy. Like, you have to show me a prophecy, and I need to see. I mean, it needs to be exact, right? Exact. Like, you can't tell me. Like somebody was saying in Discord that the Bible predicted that about Martin Luther King in some war, but it doesn't say this. You have to decipher all this. You have to interpret it, you know, that way to make to see these prophecies. It doesn't say all this, so that's the stretch. Bro, I'm gonna find you one. Well, for you, I guess it'll be for just any other day of the week. Yeah, brother. Any other day of the week, my man. Yeah, Susan. He's now see, to him, he's probably he's probably thinking he's clear and concise and making complete total sense, right? But I'm confused. I'm lost on what he's saying.
Didn't. Number 2, there is an evidence, for example, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about in the Quran about the time of Moses and the time of Yusuf alayhi salam, yeah? And Allah talks at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam, He calls the ruler a king. At the time of Moses, He calls him a pharaoh. But in the Bible, they call the time of Yusuf alayhi salam, and they call him a pharaoh. And at the time of Moses, they call him a pharaoh. This is historical error. Because when they deciphered the Rosetta Stone, it's a thing, to understand the Egyptian hieroglyphics, they found out that there was no pharaohs at the time of Joseph. This dynasty didn't exist. There was kings. Right. How did the Quran know this? And they say the Quran copies the Bible. The Quran copied from the Bible. Yeah. Why didn't the Quran copy the mistake? And how did it know that at the time of Joseph, the ruler is a king? There's no pharaohs.
He's asking, why didn't men copy the mistake? This is my question. The Quran was written by people, right? By men. I've never seen a book just magically appear. So all books have been written by people. So he's saying, why didn't people copy the mistakes? I don't know. Maybe they saw it was contradictory and decided not to, or didn't make sense and tried to make the Quran make sense. Because I believe, I believe the Bible is it influenced the Quran myself. That's just my perspective.
How did they know that? That's number 2. Number 3, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Rum, قُلُبَتِ الرُّوم. The Romans have been defeated. The historians say the way the Romans got defeated by the Persians, it's impossible to think, let alone them coming back to win, for them to even exist. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, the Romans have been defeated, but they are going to win. That's a big statement. That's like saying you guys together, we're going to take over USA and we're going to beat Trump. It's crazy. It's a big gamble. And after 3 to 7 years or 3 to 9 years, the Romans come and defeat the Persians. These are historical prophets. And these are just some. There are hundreds. I'm giving you just 3. And I can go on.
You believe in God. So scientists couldn't figure it out, but you could. Is that right?
It's not about I could. We use our logic. We use our brain. The science deals with the 5 senses, what it can see, empiricism. So what we say is very simple. There are scientists who believe in things. If you're talking about, for example, I don't see God, that's why, I don't believe in it. It's not something, science doesn't talk about the supernatural. It stops the physical. But we know, for example, scientists have discovered recently dark matter. Dark matter is something they cannot see, they cannot touch, they cannot feel, they cannot smell, they cannot hear. So the same thing with God. Can you see God? No.
Well, how did they discover it then? They found a way of discovering it, but they can't, and you trying to compare that to God. That's, again, another stretch, man. Yoga. He should do yoga. Stretch it out.
Can you touch God? No. Can you smell God? No. Can you hear God? No. Can you see God? No. But you reject He exists. But the same thing with dark matter, same thing, but you say no, dark matter exists. What kind of contradiction is this? First, God doesn't exist because I can't sense, touch, feel.
Because they have a mechanism to sense dark, or to test for dark matter, obviously. If they didn't, they wouldn't be able to have discovered dark matter. So what mechanism do we use to determine there is a God?
But dark matter, contradiction. Why do you have double standards? This is the issue. As a scientist, it's not something I discovered new. I use my logical reasoning and rationality to come to simple conclusions. And I don't need to be a scientist. I don't care how much big of a scientist you are. There were people who believed in God that were scientists. Like Einstein. He did believe in a higher power. So this issue of science or scientists and God is not contradictory. You can have scientists who are Muslim or scientists who are Christian. So yeah, it's not a discovery.
Are you brave enough to talk with famous atheists? What would you do if you encounter them?
I have no problem, because to be honest, I don't care what atheist you are, how scientists, professor, I don't care. The same thing applies. I bring my same arguments and you have to answer them. I don't care, because what I'm on, I know, I'm 100% so sure, logically, rationally, that there is no way you can get out of it except...
What you say, Susan, people used to tell me you have to have faith that he believes. Yeah, I don't know what faith is, right? I don't use the term. And so when I ask people what faith is, I think faith, let me just define I think faith is just a lack of confidence. Or, a dude named Matt Dillahunty says faith is a word to use when you don't have sound reason for your decision or your belief. And I kind of tend to agree with that. I don't use the term faith. And even the Bible says the faith is is the believing in things unseen or something like that. I mean, that, again, you got to do yoga to make these stretches. That's all I'm saying.
That you accept in being a deist, minimum deist. Maybe theist we can work on, deism. So I don't care if you're a professor, I don't care, it's irrelevant. As long as you have aql, I hope so, we can reason, then 100% there is no way they can go.
If there is infinite time,
yeah,
why not infinite possibilities?
It's a good question. I have to drink my water to answer this. This glass is empty. Yes? Empty. If we said infinite time, because the argument here is you give it infinite amount of time, anything can happen. This is a fallacy. Because to make the properties, argument's sake, if I like a chocolate cheesecake, not a chocolate cheesecake, let's talk Turkish, yeah? A nice sütlaç, yeah? If I want to have a sütlaç in here, and I say, let's give it infinite time, would I ever get a sütlaç? And by the way, I like my sütlaç burnt on the top. Let's be specific. Would we ever get it? No, because the equation of time is irrelevant. If the components to make a sütlaç, the way I like it, is not in there, you will never get a sütlaç. It's as simple as that. Time is irrelevant. What's time got to do with it? Let's give it infinite amounts of time. Would you get Ferrari? No. Give infinite time, would we get a universe? No. Because the properties to make a universe or a Ferrari or my Switch, which is more important, is not in there. So if it's not in there, you will never get it. But hopefully after this, I will get a Switch.
Yeah, my question still again is how do you know that the elements that needed to make us exist didn't already or not already here or always here? You know what I'm saying? Well, how do these people say that you need something like an origin, as Michelle was saying, it has to originate from something. But how do we know that? That's the question I have.
Okay.
Our questions are complete.
That's why I want to ask you a question. You know, why do you not accept Islam after I've answered all of them? I mean, repeat after me. Ashhadu.
We are Muslim, alhamdulillah.
We are Muslim.
Hey, I'll be honest.
It was a pleasure, guys. As you can see, we have biscuits, Turkish tea. You know, I think I have to come often. Please, let's make it regular. Till next time. Assalamu alaikum.
It's good stuff, though. Good stuff. Still, though, I don't think he answered any questions clearly. You know, I need some clarity. You know, I want people, anybody who has a belief in a so-called God, I would like for them to treat me like a third grader. Teach me that way. Show me, you know, give me the mechanism you're using to believe. Show me, present the God to me, you know, can you present your God? You just show him to me right now. You know, not without he's inside you. Okay. I think people are too scared to not believe in a God. Yeah, I can agree to that, Susan. I know I was, well, when people ask, I was like intimidated not to decide what I didn't believe. You know, this guy compares the most stupid thing. Well, Jacob, look, he has the right to his beliefs. And now there's millions of people that probably agree or think like he does. So I'm just trying to figure out why, you know, there's no proof here. Yeah. Religion translated to Dutch is gulaf or geloof or geloof. A geloof? I don't know a geloof. What is geloof? Hold on. Geloof. Faith. Okay, yeah. I don't know. Geloof it sounds like a weird term. A geloof. Yeah, he confused me even more. That gentleman confused me even more, man. Good stuff, though, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. You believe something. That was good for me if you believe something. Yeah, I guess. I guess, man. I just don't believe. I just need more evidence, right? I'm not saying that, you know, if you presented me some sufficient evidence that I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna believe. But you know, if you show me some evidence that there is a God, like presenting this God, which again you have to define what a God is. Just telling me God is the creator doesn't do much for me. I need to see this entity. I need to know this entity. You know, teach me the mechanism that you're using. Anyway, let's go on to the next video. I want to do some, I guess, so-called political.
Name 5.
But you know, we did this drinking thing yesterday, and this one is about Republicans and Democrats play truth or drink. So we're gonna say I don't know what a Democrat or a Republican is besides what in Congress when you got an R or a D beside your name. That's the only way I know. So that's the only thing I know about Democrats and Republicans. Like, I don't know what a Democrat would do that a Republican wouldn't do, or a Republican would do that a Democrat wouldn't do. So I think we just put these labels on ourselves so we'll know who to mistreat. The only thing I know for sure is what's that? You believe something? Is that what you're saying, Jacob? So again, this is Republicans and Democrats play truth or drink. You should watch Stephen Fry's emotional speech about religion. It's a video on YouTube. Stephen Fry. Let's see. I can check out Stephen Fry. Oh God, I don't know who Stephen Fry. Never heard of Stephen Fry. Which one? Is it one of these? I've seen him before. Oh, look. They said somebody destroyed him already right here, Susan. They said somebody destroyed. Let's look at this first one. It's pretty short. We can check this out for sure. Let's check it out. Let's check out Stephen Fry on God.
Suppose what Oscar believed in as he died, in spite of your protestations, suppose it's all true, and you walk up to the pearly gates and you are confronted by God. What will Stephen Fry say to him, her, or it?
I will basically, what's known as theodicy, I think. I'll say bone cancer in children? What's that about?
What's that about, buddy?
How dare you? How dare you create a world in which there is such misery that is not our fault? It's not right. It's utterly, utterly evil. Why should I respect a capricious, mean-minded, stupid God who creates a world which is so full of injustice and pain? That's what I'd say.
And you think you're going to get in?
He just hit it, right? He he was harsh. He's a little harsh than I would put it, but that's kind of what it is, man. Bone cancer in children, little girls being raped. I mean, slavery.
No, but I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to get in on his terms. They're wrong. Now, if I died and it was Pluto, Hades, and if it was the 12 Greek gods, then I would have more truck with it, because the Greeks they didn't pretend not to be human in their appetites and in their capriciousness and in their unreasonableness. They didn't present themselves as being all-seeing, all-wise, all-kind, all-beneficent. Because the God who created this universe, if it was created by God, is quite clearly a maniac, utter maniac, totally selfish, We have to spend our life on our knees thanking him? What kind of God would do that? Yes, the world is very splendid, but it also has in it insects.
We got to spend our life on our knees thanking you for all this injustice. What? This murder? Come on, this, you know what I'm saying? Starvation, world hunger, this racism. Come on, man. Let's stop this.
Whose whole life cycle.
You can't prove a God exists and you also with or current knowledge that he doesn't exist. Well, here's the thing, Jacob. I don't make the claim that he doesn't exist. I just don't agree to the claim that he does, right? I don't think there's any sufficient evidence that he does. See, I know a lot of people think that atheists, so-called atheists, have to have a burden of proof, but the burden of proof is only on the people who make the claim that a God exists, right? Like, I don't make a claim that a God doesn't exist. I just say there's no proof. There's not enough proof to claim that he does. See, I'm just against the claim. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't, the burden of proof is on the person that making the claim. So, and I don't have the burden of burden of proof is not on me or anybody that claims to be an atheist. There's no burden of proof on them. Because atheists, I believe atheists only disputes the claim that there is a God. That's the only reason they call themselves atheists, you know? And I dispute the claim as well because there's no proof. It's like, again, I look at it like unicorns or Santa Claus or fairy tale. That's how I look at God, the same way.
Is to burrow into the eyes of children and make them blind. They eat outwards from the eyes. Why? Why did you do that to us? You could easily have made a creation in which that didn't exist. It is simply not acceptable. So, you know, atheism is not just about not believing there's a God, but on the assumption that there is one. What kind of God is he? It's perfectly apparent that he is monstrous, utterly monstrous, and deserves no respect whatsoever. The moment you banish him, your life becomes simpler, purer, cleaner, more worth living, in my opinion.
That sure is the longest answer to that question that I ever got in this entire series.
That was good. That was good. I appreciate his take on it, right? He's saying God is monstrous. Which, I mean, look at it again. Like as he said, bone cancer in children. You know what I'm saying? Children getting kidnapped, you know, and sold. It's just, I mean, I'm with him. When I die, and then all of a sudden, oh, there is a God. I'm asking questions like, brother, where have you been? What is going on? Is this by design that you want us to suffer so? Is this what's going on? Well, send me to hell. Send me to hell. It can't be no worse than what we've been going through, right? Anyway, man. Anyway, brother. That's just wow. Tough, man. Very tough. Anyway. That's good stuff. All right. I wonder if this video, I want to do this Democrat trying to change it up. Change it up a little bit to understand what a Democrat or a Republican is or what they might think, especially when they're drunk. You know what I'm saying? So let me take a look. Let's take a look at the Republicans and Democrats play truth or drink, which again, I think these are just labels. These are just labels that we put on each other to be treated like God. I would ask God, hey God, why are there such things as Democrats and Republicans? What is this coming from? Or why are you allowing us to do this nonsense? You know what I'm saying? Where is that coming from? Here we go.
Name 5 historical Black people.
Why am I coming up a blank?
You love us a lot, right? You care?
Oh, wow. Name 5 historical Black people. Wow.
Hi, y'all. Who are you?
I'm Seth. My name's Craig.
My name's Emily.
My name is Dio. Tim.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Mike.
I hope my stream doesn't
Truth
stop.
or drink with a conservative,
Yes.
I think.
You seemed surprised.
I am surprised. You're a Black woman. I didn't imagine.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Here's my question. How do you know she's Black? Can somebody, is anybody that's in here, how do you know a person is Black? Can y'all tell me? Does anybody can just give me a definition of what a Black person is? And how do you know someone is Black without them saying, yes, I have been classified as a Black person? And vice versa for any other class of race, classification of race. Like if you look at somebody that says, oh, they're Asian, how do you know? Like could either one of these people here, this is my question, could either one of these people here be Asian, or could they be Japanese, or could they be, Indonesian? Is that possible? And if they can't be, why not? Right now, who makes the determination of what classification or race you are? And then where did this come from? Right?
Most people are. How do y'all think this is going to go today?
We can find some things in common.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want to go ahead and take a shot.
I'll do a tequila shot with you.
All right.
To the Republic.
To the Republic.
Indeed.
Look at the Republic. We just stay in one nation, under God. Oh, my goodness.
Are you embarrassed to tell people about your political side?
No, not at all. Because I think almost everyone finds one common thing that they can agree from each side.
Embarrassed, no, but I'm careful. Because there are some people who get really angry. I mean, like furiously angry. I'm going to take a swing at you angry.
Yeah, I think like the political atmosphere right now is like super divided. And I'm not a confrontational
Susan says,
person.
I'm just a human.
Just to come out and be like, yeah, like I'm the Republican, knowing that like I'm probably a minority. I don't want that confrontation. I don't want to bring that out.
Have you ever lost anyone in your life by saying you're conservative?
Well, definitely when Trump was elected president in 2016, a lot of my friends left me. When I've been on dating apps, I'll tell them the truth. I'm a Republican. And they say, yeah, I don't think this is going to work out. Have a nice life, basically.
I would like to know what people think about that lives here in the so-called United States, or any democracy. What do you feel about voting? I used to think voting was really, really important. Like you need to vote. But now I realize now if I vote, I would have to do some deep research on the person I'm voting for, because what I realize, a lot of people just vote for the person, not for the policies. Right? Like obviously most Black people who have been classified as Black, do not vote for policies, because if Black people actually voted for policies that help Black people, we would never vote at all. So I always wonder if wonder what people think about voting. It's interesting. Like I said, I don't think most people do think about the policy, just the person. How can you appreciate life if there's no burden? How can you appreciate life if there's no burden? You know what? There's always been burden, so I don't know. I couldn't answer that question. I would for sure like to know what life would be like without burden. Would you rather have burden or no burden? Because I would rather not have burden at all. I would rather, Jacob, I would rather live in a system where no one mistreated no one, and people that needed the most help got the most constructive help. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? A system of justice, not what we live in. Because right now, every day is a burden, man. Like most of us live in wage slavery, right? You have to go work for somebody else who benefits off your work more than you do. And that's just wage slavery to me. I still think voting is important. I think of all the people who died for my right to vote. Yeah, see, people, but now here's the thing again, though, like why are you voting for person or policy? All right, I know a lot of people. Hold on, let's see here. Peter said, if God exists as in the Bible, he's a complete drop kick. He needs a complete drop kick? Yeah, like Susan, like God, man. God. Like Susan, yeah, like I think voting is like the least thing you can do, right? I think if you just do the most constructive thing in your life at all times, in every situation, then why do you need to even vote? We should be able to take care of each other without voting. We should, you know what I'm saying? It seems like we still vote and things still happen. Like what happened to the gentleman, the brother in here in Memphis. Like voting didn't help him not one bit. Not one bit. I think life would be really boring, not worth it if there was no burden. Well, Jacob, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one, man. I think life would be wonderful. I think life would be so much way better if there was no burden. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't have to starve. If we actually, here's the thing, if we would have more time and energy. Like you don't have but a couple of things in this world, right? Time and energy. If we had more time and energy to work on other things besides people starving, you know what I'm saying? Or people worrying about their health, or you know what I'm saying, or paying bills or anything like this, we probably could have discovered many other planets by now. We probably could find a way to discover immortality. But instead, if there wasn't such thing as racism, we probably could have done so many other things instead. But instead, we have to worry about people getting beat by people they so-called are supposed to protect and serve them. You know what I'm saying? You got to get classified by your skin color. So you know how to mistreat it. There was the Tulsa massacres and all this nonsense, man, that we should never had to have dealt with, but we do. Equality for everyone on everything, right? We should. My thought is if he's omnipresent and omniscient, he knew all of the suffering before it happened. Right, all right. He knew all the suffering. And here's the thing, I think he's a sadistic, right? He's a sadist, right? So if he knew we were going to do this and he still allowed us to do it just so he could punish us, bro, that's sadistic, man. That's crazy to me. That's wild. That's another question I would ask him. If I ever get to the pearly gates, I got a lot of questions. You should watch the series. I've watched Good Place. I've seen Good Place. I can't remember the Kristen Bell. Yeah, I've seen The Good Place. Yeah, but but still, all of that is still based off, our knowledge of the world, right? The Good Place, where everybody's happy and all that. You couldn't curse or anything. But I mean, what's wrong with cursing? Like, who said saying cursing or saying words were bad? Who made them so-called bad, right? Where did this come from, right? I mean, if somebody always treated me kindly, I'd be cool. I'm cool with it, man. I'm okay with that. I'm disabled. I have to live on less than $1,050 a month. Why? See? Like, what if you didn't have to worry about all this? This is all I'm saying. And then most people, and there's only a few people on this planet that benefit from all this. There's just a few people. It's not most of the planet does not benefit from anything. Most of the planet has burden. In the ending, the guy he got fed up with living and just chose not to exist. Hey, well, but that's just that's make believe, right? I didn't have that choice not to exist. I'm here, so why not make the best of it, right? I worked till I was 59. Yeah, and then you had to work till you 50. Some people still working in their 80s, you know. I'm probably still be working well into my 80s, you know. But, you know, but I'm just saying, if we didn't have to worry about all that, wouldn't that be nice? Again, and then here's the thing. Like I said, Jacob, we would have more time to figure out, to discover new things. We probably, how do you know it would be boring? We would be discovering so many other things because we would have these burdens on us. And everybody would be kind to each other. It wouldn't be so much killing. And if, you know what I'm saying, if somebody got killed or was a murder, you would know immediately. We would immediately know. We would tell each other, hey, that ain't right. Somebody's killing, somebody died. We need to nip that in the bud immediately. But every day somebody's dying. Every day somebody's dying unjustly. And it's, you know, and I ask, where is this God? Where is this God? All right, let me finish this Democrat Republican thing.
Something like that.
There are certain things that move past the point of opinion. Like if you don't believe that I should be allowed to get married or even like exist, that's not an opinion. That's more of a call to action that we can't really move past.
Who has more sex, Dems or Republicans?
I don't know. I think everyone's fucking.
Probably.
I think that's the human part.
Definitely Republicans. We're trying to reproduce.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, religious beliefs and yeah, we gotta reproduce.
Who would you say has more sex, Democrats or Republicans?
Republicans, because they are unclear on the ideals of consent.
All right, to the best of your knowledge, have you ever had a pregnancy scare? If so, describe what happened next or take a shot.
Bless the Lord, no. I say a little prayer every night, especially now.
Especially now because...
Oh, because my party decided to be old people and like take away our rights.
Me and a partner have not had a pregnancy scare. A friend has though, and we did get a group of people together and go to the nearest abortion clinic.
Again, like they say, pregnancy scare. What if a pregnancy was, you know, all pregnancies were it wasn't a scare? The reason we say they're scared is because we live in a society where you don't know if you're gonna be able to take care of that child. Or that child might not come out right. It might not be healthy because of how we polluted ourselves, the food we eat, the water we drink, the air that we breathe, you know? I'm an Aussie. No bad words, just the meaning you put behind them, right? An acquaintance is sit, and an acquaintance is sit or ma'am, sir or ma'am, and your mate is a dumb. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you get everything you desire, how can you appreciate it? What do you mean? What do you mean? I appreciate, here's the thing. I think we should appreciate life, each other. That's the most precious thing that we should appreciate is each other. Because that's something you can't replace. That's something you cannot replace. All this other stuff, it's just stuff. These cars, these so-called houses, all this is just stuff. Life is the most precious thing, right? To me, I should be. You know what I'm saying? So we should want the best for each other. I want the best for each and every one of y'all. The absolute best, whatever you might think that is. The most, you know, whatever the constructive best is for you. I want that. All the time, every day when you wake up, you know the best is going to happen to you. That's what I want for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would appreciate. I would appreciate, because we appreciate things more than we appreciate life, right? You appreciate your car. You'll kill somebody for kicking your car, stealing your tennis shoes. You'll kill them. See, we don't look at life as like that. We don't look at life as precious. Life isn't as precious as a pair of Nikes. Huge fan of the origin of democracy, the original Athenian democracy. No parties, no voting. Take the name of every city and draw the names out of a barrel. Yeah. And that would be interesting, right? If we chose Congress here in the United States, if we chose Congress and the Senate or the House of Representatives or the president just by putting everybody's name in the barrel and just pulling them out, you know, as long as you're like 18 or older, that would be interesting. Why would you bring a child into the world that is going to starve or be brutally abused? Our march for women's right to choose. Yeah, no, I don't speak on, Susan, I don't speak on the abortion topic as much because I can't have a child. I can't have a baby, so it has nothing to do with me. It ain't my body, right? That's up for that female to choose whose body is up to her. And I don't have the right, I'm not qualified to tell her what she can and can't do with a child, right? Because I have two children. And you know what I'm saying? And back in the day, I was like, I want you to have an abortion. But now that I think about it, I'm like, no, that ain't has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me at all. I just got to be there to help that child grow. Well, my best to help him grow the best I can. I'm just saying, I just can't make this. I don't talk about abortion much at all, right? Because it ain't a topic that I'm very familiar with because I've never had a baby. And anybody else, any other male that says they have the right to choose for a woman is just lying to themselves. That's just my opinion. Now, again, don't ever listen to me because I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time.
And took care of it. That's definitely counterintuitive to the party. I think especially right now, abortion's such a hot topic.
Have you ever known anyone that's had an abortion?
Yes, it was my mom who had an abortion.
Do you think that she should have the rights to make those choices?
States should decide what they want to do with regards to that. At the national level, I don't think the federal government has any business making laws on abortion.
It's still government.
Yeah, it's still government,
True,
because with overturning Roe versus Wade, the party of small government, the only thing that they've done is multiplied the number of governments that get a say by 50.
I am strongly pro-abortion. And I think that actually agrees with Republican principles. I think imposing laws on what you can do with your body is completely anti-freedom.
So then why do you continue voting for Republicans?
Well,
that is a very good, here he is a perfect example, right? Of he claims to be a Republican, but I believe a lot of Democrats believe are pro-choice, right? And he seems to be, I guess, pro-choice. I hate to use these terms, but he seems to be pro-choice. So why is he Republican? I want to hear his answer to this. And from an outsider's point of view, nothing against the people, just the system you live under. The U.S. is dying. Well, here's the thing. I don't believe there's a such thing as the United States or America, right? These are just ideas. The United States or America doesn't exist, right? Because if you say you're an American, you gotta take everything that America has done. You enslaved people for hundreds of years. That is unjust. And you claim to be happily to be in something called an American. I don't claim to be an American. And don't claim it. Because it doesn't exist. An American practices justice. An American wouldn't enslave people. American wouldn't see this man get killed by people who's supposed to protect and serve him. That's not American. That's no such thing. So America does not exist. That's just from my perspective. It does not exist. There's no such thing. I know I'm just running my mouth.
Two evils. I like evil.
Fuck.
Wait a minute. What did he say? Why does he?
The lesser of two evils.
Oh, he said the lesser of two evils.
Like evil.
Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill, Trump, AOC, and Hillary.
So fuck AOC, marry Hillary, and kill Trump.
Kill Trump. Fuck Hillary and then marry AOC. Obviously,
Hey, man, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to say kill anybody. I know many Democrats who oppose abortion, and as many Republicans that are pro-choice. Yeah. So how do you differentiate? So are you still a Republican? Are you a Republican or a Democrat based on how you vote? Is that how it works? You just, is that how you become a Democrat or a Republican, or a liberal or a conservative? Is that how it is? Depending on how you vote, that's how you claim to be. But obviously, a lot of Republicans are anti-abortion. So how do you square that circle? See, it's all confusing. It's so confusing to me. It's just confusing. And then what's an independent, right? It's a scale. Like what scale is it on? What scale are we talking about? Or is this scale? Like I hear people say left and right. So I'm like, left and right of what? What is left of what? Right of what exactly? You know what I'm saying? And you never get rid of your guns, but if the government does its actual job and looked after people, many people wouldn't snap so often. Well, here's the thing, I think, Peter. I think it's an individual thing, right? We have to do this as individuals. Because the government is just us, right? That's all governments are across the world. It's just us people, right? So if we individually solve problems, if we solve each individual person's problems of each individual, we solve all problems. But somehow we get into this to this. Hey, what's up, Eric, man? How you doing? We get into this tribalism, right? We label each other Republican or Democrat, and then we get stuck into this ideology. You know, and here's the thing, none of us understand it. Like this man just said he believed in pro-choice, but he's a Republican, you know? And there's Democrats who are anti-abortion. So, I mean, where is the scale? And the question is, who decides what the scale is? Eric, what are you up to, my brother?
Well, I just don't know. I don't want the words fuck Hillary coming out of my mouth, except for it's like fuck Hillary.
This is so easy. I would kill Trump.
Damn.
Why not? Sure. Let's see. Secret Service, bring it. I'd have to fuck Hillary. Primarily because, you know, AOC, you gotta marry it. You gotta marry AOC.
Lock it down.
Yeah.
Lock it down.
Have you ever had sex with someone from another party? If so, how was it?
I think I'm gonna take a drink.
I can tell you how good Democrats are in bed.
Who does it better?
It's
the Dems, isn't it?
They might lay that pipe a little. Yeah, I mean, like.
So you know when you go to a gay bar, there are very few Republicans to even have that option. And there could have been a couple, but politics wasn't on the agenda that night.
That's fair.
In what ways is your party racist? If you say there is not racism within your party, take a shot.
There's so much racism in the party.
It's in a maybe sometimes a different way than the outright like, get out of here, you know, we don't like this group of people. But it manifests in a way that they're like trying to be so like woke and correct, where it's like, now you're just like, you're tokenizing people in a different way.
I'm a reparations guy. I am somebody who is very committed to seeing that reparations come about, and I support educators, women of color who are doing the work via Venmo,
Can I hold your hands? We can be friends.
Like, could you believe in reparations?
Man, just relaxing on my day off. What we talking about today? Oh man, you know, we always talking about religion and God. I just we're doing something a little different here, because I'm always confused on what a liberal or a conservative or a Democrat or Republican actually is, or left and right. Peter says, I have mates who are left and right. Can't solve anything by shouting at each other. Right. You know? See, I don't like, hey, Peter, so what is left though, right? Like, what is left of what? Like, where does that come from? Who says, like, how do you know somebody's on the left? Like with 5 people, I ask this all the time. If 5 people are walking down the street, which one of them are left and which one of them are right? Not by position, but how would you know which one of them are on the left and which one are on the right? Like what, you know what I'm saying? I guess you wouldn't know until you spoke to them. And then like, what would they say to make you think that, okay, they're on the left? Or would they have to say, hey, I'm on the left? You look at the important political points you agree with, and you can make a choice which party represents you more. Yeah, okay, but like, okay, for example, like what? Like what does a Republican do that Democrats don't do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Like, is there, because on the outside looking in, they seem like two sides of the same coin. Like people that claim to be Republicans and Democrats are the same people, right? Like I have a whole different perspective. Like I only think there's one government on the planet, right? And everybody is reacting to that government. And these other things are just titles and tags and labels that we give each other. All these labels just keep us separated from each other, right? Right, that's what I think. See, I believe right is individual rights and left is human rights. Like, okay. But we all, okay, Peter, I'm confused now. Like individual, you mean we all humans though, right? And we all individuals. See, now I'm confused. You see? So the right is individual rights, but I'm a human and I'm an individual. What would a Democrat do that a Republican wouldn't do? That's my question. Again, I think we all are labeled. Yeah, we use these labels. We use these labels in order to mistreat each other. That's what it's for. Yeah, I agree with both parties. Agree with each other for 90%. Right. If you ask any black person, they'll tell you, I don't know the difference between a Republican or a Democrat. But most black people probably would vote Democrat. I'm guessing, based on statistics, the people that vote, they would vote Democrat. Now I asked my mother and her fiance these questions, like, why do y'all vote? Like, who do you know what you're voting for? And then after you do vote, what change do you expect to see? And most of the time, they can't answer these questions. They usually are just either voting to keep somebody they don't like out, or they just voting for the person that they like. Like, but when Barack Obama ran, I voted for Barack Obama. I didn't know anybody's things about his policies. I just figured he was black and he was a good orator. I was like, yeah, okay, Barack. But now as I look back on it, his policies were nothing that actually I didn't think he did enough. I don't like, what did he do in his 8 years to end racism against people of color, of black people? I don't think he did much at all, but it's not up to him, right? I still think he's just a tool, right? He just had a title called president. He just had a title. He was just a tool. What much he could do. There was really nothing Barack Obama could do. Right? I understand that. That's just for here in the United States. I'm Dutch. We have many parties, and after the elections, 2 or more parties have to agree how they want to move the country forward into the next elections. Oh, okay, I need to look into that. I need to look into that. In the Netherlands, right? That's in the Netherlands. I should look at that. You voted for Barack twice? Yeah. I voted for him twice as well. I voted for him twice. And this is like I just changed my mentality a couple of years ago. I haven't voted in a couple of years. The last person I voted for, I used to vote. I started to vote in local elections mainly. But once I changed my mentality, I stepped back from voting because I wanted to learn more about reality in life. Because I know voting is just a very small part of it. M7, what's up, man? We missed you, brother. Yo, what's up, guys? Taliban, no, my brother. You, Michelle, brother. You, Michelle. We were watching a video earlier. I wish you were here to help answer some of those questions. I work 22 hours a week, full health care, spend most of my time at the beach. I vote for whoever's going to help people who are, yeah, see? And that's fine. That's, that's cool, Peter. That's how people vote. But what I've realized is most people don't do enough research. We and I include myself in that. We don't do enough research on people's policies and what exactly are they running for. Like if I vote for someone now, they have to say the term white supremacy. They have to put that in their policy. They have to say it all the time, and that's the only time I would probably vote for anybody now. That's just me. I voted for him once and never voted again. Eric said he's don't vote. Hey, Eric, that's like I said, I think voting is probably the least you can do. That's just here. I don't know about, but probably I would say that across the planet. I would say voting is the least thing that we can do for each other. I still believe as individuals, we can ensure that we don't mistreat each other. In your everyday life, you can just make sure if you know you're about to mistreat somebody, don't. Right. And if you see if there's somebody in your vicinity that you can help constructively, then why don't we help them? Right. And if everybody did that, I believe we might be better off. Well, yeah, Michelle. In America, you have a 2-party system that makes hostility much bigger to the other party. Yeah, hey, Jacob, there's no 2-party system here. There's only one party. There's only one party, brother. I know what you're saying, though. But those parties are not helping. They're not helping anybody that looks like me. I'm going to tell you that right now. They do not help anybody that looks like me. Did you see that link I sent you earlier today? Yeah, I was watching it a little bit. It did, but it's still, hey, Michelle, and I'm going to finish this and I'll talk to you about it. Let me finish this.
Yes.
You sound like a progressive, I'll say. I have not ever talked to someone who is conservative that agrees with reparations at all.
Let's talk about racism within the GOP.
Hold on, before we get to racism GOP, that's another thing. Like, if he is a Republican, most Republicans, I would think, if depending on what a Republican is, would agree with reparations. So would that make him a Republican? I'm so confused. I'm just so confused. See, that's why I say individuals. We should do the best things as individuals. Helping other people is the secret to happiness. Yeah, if we all did that as a planet, if we did that as a planet, right, we would be fine. But there's so much confusion. There's so much confusion on this planet, right? We believe here again. I go back to like believing in these holy, so-called holy books. We interpret these things to make it seem like that I'm better than you, right? Racism started because of people believed in Christianity. We're saying, oh, I'm pure and you're less than me because God said so. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that religion is the reason. I believe it's still people. People make these decisions, but it's the way they interpret people, interpreting these books and interpreting how people look. People look at you and say, no, you don't deserve the same things I deserve. And you know what I'm saying? That's just my perspective. You good, bro? Oh, yeah, Michelle. I wish you were here earlier, man. He had some good stuff. Christians should know they cannot judge. But they don't know that, you know, people who might claim to be Christians like, no, I have God I have this God, this all-powerful, all-loving being on my side. He is the center of my morality. That's how I know right from wrong. And if you don't have this God, then how do you know what's right and how you know what's wrong? That's how Christians believe. Only God can judge. See, I don't believe that, you know, if God is judging, that means if God is judging us, then man, I sure don't want to worship him. But look at the world. Look at this world. He judged Africans so they could be enslaved for over 1,000 years. You know what I'm saying? He judged them, right? Now, where was he? Where is this all-powerful judge? Yet to meet a Christian, only people who label themselves as such. Yeah. Oh, you never met a Christian? Oh. Well, there's so many sects, right? There's so many sects of Christians or Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Most people probably wouldn't say they're Christian. Some people might just, they probably have a different name for it. I don't know. I'm not a Christian or so-called Christian, so don't listen to me. But I'm going to finish this video. I promise you. 2 minutes left. We got 2 minutes.
There's some there, well hidden.
I think it's definitely, you know, pretty out there. Growing up in San Diego, you know, you have like all the like Republicans who are just like, I'm tired of these, you know, Mexicans being here. This is America, build that fucking wall.
Is that racism or is that just being against illegal immigration?
They didn't ask whether the person was here legally. They would also call people from Venezuela Mexicans.
No,
you know,
if
like,
they speak Spanish.
Yeah, I think it was purely like a race thing.
Somebody offered you $20 million.
Exactly, it's a race thing. Like, okay, this bill is, okay, what's a Mexican? Like, how do you know what is a Mexican? These are the questions I have about race. The race classification. Why are people, I haven't yet got a good answer from people. Why are people classified by the color of their skin? See, I believe we live in a social materialistic world that's dominated by racism, white supremacy. And those classifications are used in order to mistreat people, right? To me, let me tell y'all this. Let me tell you this. I only believe there's only 3 classifications of race. And I know this is controversial and a lot of people disagree with me. And that's white, that's non-white, and that's white supremacists. This is my 3 classifications. Eric says if you're from Mexico, like, okay, hey, Eric, what it like if somebody from Mexico looked like me or looked like you and let's say they spoke English, would you consider them Mexican? Right? If I lived in Mexico, or let's say this young lady here, this lady right here, if she lived in Mexico, would you consider her Mexican? And who makes that decision? Tim Minchin says it's best in Storm. Oh, I've seen Tim Minchin Storm. I got a reaction. Y'all check that out. Isn't this world amazing enough without making up myths? Oh yeah. But as I don't know who was saying that the burdens. I think we make up these things to make up these fantasies to feel better. We live in such a horrific place. We make up these things. We make up a God so we can feel better. We make up this heaven and this hell to feel better. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Eric says, no, not lived in Mexico, born from Mexican ancestry. Now, what's a Mexican ancestry? What's a Mexican ancestry? Like as I know, we probably all originated from the continent of Africa. But what is Mexican? Like, how do you distinguish what would a Mexican person do that somebody else wouldn't do that would make them Mexican? Like, this is the confusion, right? I understand why you're upset or don't agree with the Bible and biblical study. It's fact that Bible nowadays is corrupted, and you can see what I'm talking about if you check it out. Oh, well, no, the Bible is, here's the thing, the Bible is just a book, right? I just think the Bible is a book. The Bible, this book has done nothing, right? It's how people interpret it. Like the Quran is just, that's just a book, or whatever you might say it is. It's just text. It's how people interpret it. And then say, hey, I'm a Christian based on this, on the Bible. But no, you're just a person that has beliefs that might be, to me, illogical, but that's all it is, right? If your lineage is from Mexico. So, okay, so if your lineage, what do you mean your lineage is from Mexico? Like again, so if I can, I'm trying to think, because, you know, again, most of I believe all of us originated out of the continent of Africa. So you're saying, so wouldn't everybody's lineage be from the continent of Africa? So why don't we just call everybody Africans is my question, I guess. Because I'm trying to figure out so if your lineage is from Mexico, like, I don't know, I guess you're saying if, I say, I don't know, I'm confused. I confuse myself, Eric. I confuse myself. I confuse myself right there, because I don't know what lineage, if your lineage from Mexico. Let me just look. Let me make sure I get the right definition of lineage, and I'm sure it's going to be confusing. Lineal descent from an ancestry or pedigree, a sequence of species, each of which is considered to have evolved from its predecessor. So again, yeah, like all our ancestors originate from the continent, from what I've learned, from the continent of Africa. So why don't we all call ourselves Africans? So people made up a line and called the land inside of those lines Mexico, and now they are Mexicans. So who made up the lines? And why would they make up these lines, right? We all are just, like Susan says, we're all just humans. Again, what would a Mexican do that I wouldn't do? Like, if I went to Mexico and me and my wife had a child in Mexico, and that child grew up in Mexico and spoke the language, understood whatever the culture was, would that child be Mexican, or would that child be still classified as Black? And then who would make that distinction? Exactly. People interpret it, which means it's not God word, like the Quran. Right. Like, so Michelle, like, how do you know what is God's word? Is the question. How do you know what is and what isn't God's word? Like, people have interpreted the Bible, but some people will say, no, they're not interpreting the Bible correctly. So how do you know who's right and who's not, and what is God's word? Imagine a world where we could take care of each other. Crime would drop dramatically. Yeah, Susan, I'm with you. You know, but we look at each other and label each other something. Like, we label each other as a Mexican. I still don't know what a Mexican is. Like, I don't know what a Mexican is. I don't know what an African is. I don't know what any of these terms mean. But we labeled each other these things. And then here's the thing. We jump in these tribes and then we fight. Like, we fight. We act like we're not all one people on this one little speck in the universe. It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? It is really amazing. Because all I believe in those are just titles. Like, calling yourself a Mexican. Like, I don't consider myself Black. When I was born, somebody said you were Black. I'm like, wait a minute now. I keep saying this. I'm a buttery almond. My skin is not Black. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen somebody the color Black. I mean, there's some dark-skinned people. I don't consider them Black or like a white person. I've never seen a person the color white. You know? Because we can't quantify if my family is from Mexico. I can't quantify if everyone originally comes from Africa. So then why do we title ourselves Mexicans, or, you know what I'm saying? Why don't we just say we're Homo sapiens sapiens, or humans? You know, why do we have to label ourselves something is the question, I guess. And then where does that come from, right? I know back in ancient Africa, they had tribes, right? Nobody was labeled a Mexican or anything like that. They were tribes of people. You know, who actually looked after each other, even though they did war with each other. But a lot of times they warred to help other people in ancient Africa. This stuff just like race classifications just came about like in the last 400 or 500 years. Before that, nobody was considered a race or a people. Born in Australia, but I can control my accent. When people ask me where I'm from, I say the same planet as you. Right. Like there's a guy named Neela Fuller that says when they ask him where is he from, he says I'm from everywhere I've been and everywhere I haven't been. So, you know what I'm saying? Which is, it's true, right? I'm from everywhere I've been. Everywhere I've been has molded me. Everywhere I haven't been has molded me as well. I get it. I'm from the same planet. We should call each other, like Susan, we're humans. That's it. There's no such thing. Again, I still don't believe there's such thing as an American, an African, a Mexican, a Chinese person, a Japanese person. I don't believe in any of that stuff. All right, let me finish this up. We still got 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I would not. Would you switch to being a Republican?
No.
20 million?
There is no amount of money that the Republicans could offer me to
You hate them
switch.
that bad?
I don't hate the people, I hate the policies. As a gay man, I have looked at what they've done to the LGBTQIA community. They don't care about me. They don't care about the working class.
$20 million? I'm a bad person in that regard. I will take $20 million fucking right now. Let's sign the papers. I'm cutting my hair. I'll put on a sports coat. Let's go.
Name 5
I'm really liking this
historical
sister. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Black people. If you can't, shame on you. Take a shot.
Ready? Go.
Why am I coming up
Hit 'em.
a blank?
Hit 'em.
George Washington Carver, Frederick Douglass, Thomas Sowell, Herman Cain.
George Washington Carver, obviously Martin Luther King.
Man said Herman Cain.
Malcolm X.
Depends on what you mean by historical.
Hang on a second.
Tick, tick.
The Harriet Tubman.
You love us a lot, right?
I really do.
Now, let me ask you. Now, is that... Should we all be able to name 5 historical Black figures, depending on what your definition of historical is? And if you can't, what does that actually mean, right? You should watch this one. Watch that. The Bible written by John, Luke, Matthew, and Peter, not Jesus Christ, PBUH, not to mention the language of the first Bible written Greek, Jesus, PBH, spoke Aramaic. Hey, Michelle, how do you know the Bible was written by John, Luke, Matthew, or Peter? And then, Michelle, how do you know those were real people? This is my question. How do you know that John, Luke, Matthew, or Peter was real? Now, I think Peter, I might could agree that Peter might have been real, right? I think there are writings from Peter. But maybe it was Paul. Who was on the road to Damascus? That might have been Paul. I'm sorry. That was Paul. I don't know about John, Luke, Matthew, or Peter. I might have to dispute that there. Oh, you're Aramaic. Or you're Aramaic. Okay, I'm sorry. I understood most speech in the Passion of the Christ. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Aramaic is a language. Where are you from? Yeah, Aramaic is a language. You see? Like if I speak Japanese, if I speak the language of Japanese, am I Japanese? I think so. I'm born in the Netherlands, but my ancestors are from Mesopotamia. Well, let me ask you this, Jacob. If your ancestors, again, I still think we all originated from the continent of Africa. I just still think I don't understand why we don't call ourselves Africans. Like there were many before Mesopotamia even was a thing. There was many people that existed on the planet before then. Like the Khoisan people existed over 60,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? The people in the Nile Valley area were here, like in Ethiopia, Nubia. Those people were here before most of these other so-called civilizations even existed. Mesopotamia, Sumer, but don't listen to me. You do your research and maybe you can prove me wrong. Humanity began in Africa. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Humanity began in Africa. So why don't we call ourselves Africans is the question. That's all I was just wondering,
Air?
How
do.
much?
One more on the count of 3.
One more. Let's see.
Oh shoot, his name is escaping me right now.
3.
I mean, Martin Luther King Jr., baby. Harriet Tubman.
Thurgood Marshall.
Oh, that's right.
Tim, help him out.
Sure. You got Fuck. God damn it. You just make me.
Shame on you.
It's the timer. It's the clock.
I know,
it's not
the
me.
pressure is on.
How was this?
Can y'all name 5 historical people who were classified as black? Can anybody do that? Can y'all name 5 historical, like off the top of your head, not Googling it, but off the top of your head, can you name 5 historical people who would be classified as black? You know, you got James Baldwin, Martin Luther, Malcolm X, Hubert Harrison, Woodrow Wilson. I mean, no, I'm sorry. What's my guy's name? William Monroe Trotter. That's who I want to say. William Monroe Trotter. I'm reading this book now. You know, can y'all just spit out 5 historical people to be classified as black? Frederick Douglass, Mansa Musa, all kinds of people. You like Google a lot, right? Check who wrote the Bible there, and you were right about authors of the Bible there. I know, right? And then, hey, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. And then also, aren't there some books of the Bible missing? You know what I'm saying? There's some books of the Bible missing. That's why I ask people, like, what if one of those books of the Bible was like, oh, this is just a play, ha ha ha. Don't believe in it. This is just fairy tales. This is folklore. Maybe that was that book that said that. That's what I think. All right, we got less than a minute.
Today.
I loved it. Are you kidding me?
I had a lot of fun.
Are you guys going to be homies? Are you going to hang out after this?
I think we can be homies. I think we can grab
Absolutely.
beer and hang out. Absolutely. I think this is very
yeah,
representative.
I can
of
hang
kind of
out
the
with
country. I
anyone.
think there's a lot of common ground here that we can find.
In general, people are more common than not.
Are you going to exchange numbers? Are you going to be friends?
Right?
Yeah.
I'd like
got
to exchange her
I've
number.
got so many questions.
Excuse me, man.
You agreed with some of my thoughts too.
That's why I'm saying you're a progressive.
It was interesting seeing somebody that's not so like far to the right.
Like I said before, I am an ultra conservative.
There's that
It's
word.
just that we
Far
weren't
to
talking
the
about some
right.
really hot button issues.
Fascist.
Fascist. Like,
God created everything. So
like, what's a fascist? What's a fascist? That's another question I hear people say fascist, neo-fascist. I don't know what it is. Well, you just did it for me. Yeah, right. I named 5. Well, you know, for me, you, Eric, I'm sure it'd be easy. But, you know, ask anybody of any of the so-called race. I'm looking here. Anybody of anybody's so-called race, could they name 5 historical so-called people classified as black historical people, right? But and don't name Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Harriet Tubman. Could you name anybody outside of those 3 people? You know, it'd be tough, I'm sure, because you know why? Because they don't have to. They don't have to know historical black figures. They're like, why do I care? It means nothing. Black people have no power. What do I care about? Christianity, love thy neighbor. Also Christianity, let's go kill a lot of people that think their method of loving thy neighbor is better. Right. Yeah, so that's why I asked Peter, how do you know who's practicing Christianity correctly? Right? I know people will say, no, the people that's doing the killing, they don't practice. That's not Christian. That's not true Christianity. I'm like, wait a minute now. How do you know? Can we be homies? I don't know why that was funny. Yeah, can we be homies? I don't know. Exactly, Peter. Yeah. You proved my point about the corruption of the Bible, and I don't consider it the word of God in the first place. Right, Michelle? But Michelle, we still have to have a discussion about Islam and slavery, right? I want to make sure you understand Islam, they use slavery to disseminate Islam too, man. We're gonna have that discussion, man. I'm gonna get my information together, and I'm gonna prove to you. Well, I might not prove it to you. You might not agree, but I'm gonna show you how Islam was a foundation of slavery, the trans-Saharan slave trade. I'm gonna get that together for you. We're gonna have that discussion. I don't trust anyone that needs a book to tell them how to be good. Peter, hey brother, I like the way you think, man. Me and you probably have a similar ideology based on religion. Some similar ideology, for sure. Jesus and his apostles were born in the time the Romans occupied Israel, and Roman scriptures have stories that they did exist. Well, here's my thing about Jesus, right? Jesus. During the time of Jesus' life, nobody wrote about him. Like the indigenous people of the time didn't write about Jesus. From what my understanding, all the writings of Jesus came like 30, 40 years after his death. Now, you know, I don't know if there was a person named Jesus that existed by it. It might have been people named Jesus that existed back then that got crucified or they got hung on the cross and killed by Romans or about Romans, I guess. But I don't believe there was a person back then that performed miracles or anything like that. I don't believe that. I've never seen a miracle, right? Depending on your definition of it. So I would say that particular person didn't exist. Like nobody, because I've never seen a miracle. But that was good. The Democrat, the Republican, that was good. That was good. I enjoyed that. Let me stop that. Here we go. Atheist versus Christian. Back to a little more religion. Atheist versus Christian debate. I enjoy these debates. I enjoy these religious debates, man. If they don't get so, I always hit like on these. I try to remember to hit like. I try to I like to listen to them, and long as, like I said, as long as they don't get too combative, you know. I like to hear people's perspectives because most of the planet, like, let me see. Let's look at this. Let's look. Hold on. Where's my browser at? All right. Percentage, if I can type, percentage of religious in the world. That's good enough. Here we go.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm talking about it all. Let's see if I can get a good, I want to see a good map. Is this interactive? All right, so here's an interactive map of people, of religions on the planet, right? So here we go. Christianity in Canada, 69%. Non-religious is 23.7%. The United States of America is almost 80% of people believe Christianity. This is at the World Religions Map. This is PBS Learning. So this is probably a pretty decent source that we can look at. Look at this, is all Christianity. Look at this. Look at all this. Christianity. Look at Africa. Now, Christianity, I know in ancient times, was not a part of their religion, right? They believe in multiple things. But this is Africa. Christianity across the world. I want us to see this now. This is the biggest, obviously this is the most believed in religion, Christianity. And Saudi Arabia, Islam. All right, that's you, Michelle. Bro, if the one who brought Islam bought a woman slave and married her and she's considered to be one of the honored women at the time, I don't think he's into slave. Hey, even the video you showed me, it was called those people slaves, Michelle. Hey, Zoet, thank you for subscribing. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I don't know if you're watching, but thank you so much, Zoet. And welcome if you're here. Yeah, I believe even the video you showed me, they called them slaves. So why did he call them slaves? Why didn't he just call them his wives? You know what I'm saying? Why call them slaves? Let's see here. Hinduism in India. Thailand is Buddhism. But Christianity dominates the world. Dominates the world. Islam, and then Islam has a big chunk right here. A lot of people believe in Islam. Now think about that. Islam and Christianity, these religions didn't really originate in this continent, right? But this continent is nothing but Islam and Christianity. If you look into ancient African spirituality, they didn't believe in Christianity. They had beliefs well before a Christian or Islam, Muslim, or a Jewish so-called person ever existed. But now the world is just Christianity. Now it makes you wonder, why is that? Now I have my like, I don't believe it's just one religion. All these are just labels. Happiness can equal less religion, right? There are more Muslims in the world. Yeah, there are more Muslims, honestly, so-called Muslims. Depending on what you mean by Muslim, I guess anybody that believes in Islam. Anybody that believes in Islam, I guess you consider Muslim. Is that what you would consider Muslim? Because there are some Muslims here. Depends on what your definition of a Muslim is. You know, like I said, I don't know what a Muslim would be. I don't know what a Jewish person is or a Christian person. I just again, I think these are just titles. She was once a slave until the prophet, what is PBUH? Because I don't want to sound ignorant. Married her. Remember, no one married a slave. What do you mean no one married a slave? He married a slave. Slavery was the thing of choice, brother. They had eunuchs. Why did they make eunuchs out of African people? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. He married a slave. He had slaves. Let's stop this, man. Now, he might have treated them more cordially than they did during the transatlantic slave trade, but he had slaves. Now, look, slavery in all forms to me is wrong. To me, in all forms. There's nothing right about slavery. There's nothing right about owning a person at all. And then let me ask you this, Michelle. What does the Quran say about females? Like, did this woman even have a choice? Did he have a choice? You're making it seem like he's cool because he married her. But what about her? Did she have a choice to marry him? Maybe she didn't want to marry him. Why was she a slave in the first place? And why would he allow it? Like wasn't he all powerful? Why would he allow slavery in the first place? This is wild, my brother. And then what about the female? What say so does she have in all this? When we talk about this stuff, we sure leave females out of this. I know the Christian Bible does. Women are treated just horrifically, still treated horrifically. I mean, how are we not, like, the Bible condones rape? Does the Quran condone rape? Like, I'm thinking about it, he married one of his wives were less than 12 years old. In today's time, that would be considered rape. If I'm 47, and you marry somebody, you're having sexual relations with them. So I'm 47. If y'all see me walking around with a 12-year-old, that's rape. And I think that is, even though it was a different time, I still think it was wrong. Jacob married the personal slave of both his wives that were his sisters. See? And that's from the Bible. But I know the Bible condones slavery. I know the Bible. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with the Quran, but I understand Muhammad had slaves. The Prophet Muhammad had slaves. He married underage children. And I know Islam. And I know Islam was a foundation for the trans-Saharan slave trade. You know what I'm saying? I wonder what the number of people are in the world. Here we go. Here it is right here.
What?
Hold up.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
All right, so let's look here. Here you go. Here we go right here. Christians, they're 2.2 billion followers, represent 31.5% of the world's population. So the world is mainly made up of Christians. Muslims make up 1.6 billion. They're number 2. Non-religious people make up 1.1. Well, hey, we catching you. We catching y'all. We catching you, Michelle. We're going to catch you, man. We're going to get you in a minute. We're going to get you in a minute, man. We're on our way. Peace be upon him. Okay, peace be upon him. I got you. The Bible says threat your neighbor as you want to be treated. No, I think you got it right. I know that's a typo. But I know the Bible says threaten your neighbor. Or threaten your neighbor. Like, think about it, right? The Bible, this God of the Bible, sent a worldwide flood to kill everything. Children, women, animals, all of it, man. And you telling me he did not know any of this before he killed everybody? He couldn't figure out another way. Besides killing everybody to try to right what he felt was wrong. It's amazing to me. I'm close that he married a 12-year-old. Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad married a 12-year-old? Yes. I know I'm close, man. I know I'm very close. Peace be upon him. Let me ask you this, Michelle. Now, I know, I think Muslims pray 5 times a day.
This whole day is ruined.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got my numbers. Every Muslim is obligated to pray 5 times a day. I don't know how to say these words. Asir, Mega. The prayer called Salah is prayed in congregation every day at dawn, post noon, during the evening, and evening and at night. Here's all you need to know about it. Let me ask you this, Michelle. Why do you have to pray 5 times a day? Why can't you just pray once? Why do you have to pray 5 times? And let's see what this says. Here, it tells you here. First prayer, the time for the Salah begins at dawn and ends. Okay, here we go. Why do you pray 5 times a day? Muslims are obligated to follow the Holy Quran's commands and the Noble Prophet's teaching. Praying 5 times was made mandatory following the night ascension when the Noble Prophet set on the night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem and then passed the 7 skies. While in divine presence of Allah, the Noble Prophet was commanded to inform the Muslims Salah was made obligatory upon them. Initially, 50 daily prayers was commanded. 50? Which were subsequently reduced to 5 on the advice of Prophet Moses to the Holy Apostle. Therefore, Moses prayed 5 times a day to fulfill the obligation bestowed upon them by the command of Allah through his... Hey, come on now. All right. Look, I have no right to criticize anybody for anything, but that seems a little excessive, right? And then Michelle, why would a powerful, perfect being need to have people to pray to him that many times? That makes no sense. Jacob, it also says to kill them if they're not true believers. If God was real, he's a schizo. Yeah, I think he's a sadist. He's a sadistic. I believe the God of the Bible is sadistic. And from what I can tell, the God of all gods that believe in these three major religions seem sadistic. They want you to worship them. If you don't worship, they're going to punish you. But they know that you're not going to worship them. Which is weird, right? They know you're not going to worship them. So instead of them trying to make it so we would, they punish you. Makes no sense, man. Makes no sense, my guys. All right. Why do you work hard to make your life easier? What do you mean? What is that? What do you mean? Why do I work hard to make my life easier? Obviously, if we didn't live in an unjust society, I wouldn't have to work as hard. So, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times you work hard and your life does not get easier. Like for most people that live, let's say just from living in the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of people work hard and their lives are worse. So that makes, you know what I'm saying? That's not a good analogy, my brother. I'm out this 1:30 in the morning where I live. Hey, Jacob, thank you for coming through, man. You have a great night, man. Sleep tight, brother. Sleep tight. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you coming through, my man. Yes, so Michelle, so yeah, there's a lot of people that work hard and still struggle. How come Allah or God does not make their lives easier? Here's the thing. I have to work hard, and then I have to pray every day. How does that calculate? That circle ain't squaring, brother. Oh, Streamlabs, don't delete his message. Remember that story about the lazy students? What story about the lazy students? I work 22 hours a week and realize that happiness is a state of mind. I'm 58 and right time. See, look at Peter. He works 22 hours a week. See, it depends, right? And then your definition of hard work. Dang, why did he delete all your messages, Michelle? Your definition of hard work is just dependent on the individual, right? I can think working an hour a day is hard work. But then again, you know what I'm saying? Why is it that I have to work hard to find happiness in this world, man? When we have this all-loving being, this all-powerful, all omnibenevolent being. I don't get it. I don't get it, my brother. You got to help me understand that. All right, man. One more video. This is, am I recording still? An atheist versus Christian. Fascinating public debate. Let's watch this together, Michelle. I wish you were here for the Muslim. I wish you were here for the Muslim debate. Not debate, the Muslim video. The video where the gentleman was answering questions about God in less than a minute.
Are you an atheist? Yeah. So I'm going to ask you an important question. Do you believe the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything, which is what an atheist is? No. Do you believe something created everything? Yes. So you're not an atheist. You just don't know what it was that created everything. Is that right?
I don't believe in the definition of God as defined by a religion.
What was in the beginning?
You want me to explain the Big Bang?
Yeah, tell me what it was caused by and what the Big Bang was made up of.
Nobody knows. Well, it's a theory, but it basically is the rapid expansion of a highly dense nucleus of particles or mass.
Where do the particles come from? Where did the conscience, the human conscience...
Well, either way, how do you know? Well, how do you implement God there? Like, I don't know where the particles... he could just say, I don't know. And then he would say, well, that's God. But when you ask people, what mechanism are you using to make that determination? They cannot answer that question, right? If you check how Jesus, peace be upon him, prayed according to the Bible, you will find the same. Simply, we follow the prophets of God. Michelle, it seems like you are submit. Like you said, Islam means submit, to surrender. It seems like you're surrendering to these so-called prophets of God. I don't know what a prophet is. I've never met one, but it seems like you're surrendering to him. And I still don't understand why, when there's so much suffering. Like, shouldn't you put something like a scale on this God, or something, like give this God some goals that it needs to accomplish before you say, I can worship you? Like, shouldn't he be able to end world, he or she, I don't know if it's a he or this entity, shouldn't this entity do something like end cancer or end world hunger before you can say, I'll worship you? Like, if this God comes to me and says, I will end cancer and and that will prove to you I'm here, then maybe I'll be like, okay. But until something like that happens, I don't want to worship anything called a God. From what I'm observing, this is a terrible place to live. Who needs a new car? My old Ford gets me around. While I have credit cards, they force you to work harder. Yeah, Peter. You know what I'm saying? I'm with Peter. I don't need, look, I bought a Ford truck that's giving me so many problems. And I wish I'd never bought, because I was so enticed with buying things. And the reason why I believe we buy things like new cars is to show off. Like, if your car is running right and getting you from point A to B, what point is it to get a new car? So we can show off to other people and say, hey, I got a new car. So we can feel good about the new gadgets, man. You know what I'm saying? We trick each other. And then if you look at it, there are only a small amount of people on this planet that are benefiting from this. And it sure is not me or anybody that looks like me. If there was a God, I think he would like us to think for ourselves. Faith with no proof is behind a lot of evil. Like I said, Peter, I don't use the term faith, and I agree with you. Faith with no proof is behind a lot of evil. I submitted my will to God only and follow his commands. If you don't want to believe in God, no one on earth will convince you. Well, you're right. There's nobody that convince. Well, you have to. God could convince me, though. Your God could convince me. No human based on people's definition or their belief of this God or the characteristics of a God would be able to convince me. But doesn't God have the power to convince me? And if he does, why not convince me? Hey, Webster, how are you doing, my brother? That's my question. Why doesn't he convince me like he convinced you? Like, why is it? Here's another question I have. Why is it that the evidence that you have convinces you, but it doesn't convince me? What is the difference? Like, and then what mechanism, again, are you using to see that there is a God? Like, to know for sure that there is a God. What mechanism? Like, what tool do you use to know, to say, hey, I know there's a God because I see this God. I know that there's a God. What mechanism? I hadn't found that mechanism, and then I want somebody to help me out with it.
The evolution of the human brain.
Where did that come from? I mean, why is it that every human being in every society has a knowledge of right and wrong? They have a moral compass. Where did that come from? How did evolution do it? Why did evolution do it? When did evolution do it? Explain it to me, because I don't understand what you guys believe. So, Gabriel, you think you're a good person?
I try to be.
Yeah, you hear that nonsensical argument all the time. That how do you tell between right and wrong if there's no God? What do you mean? Like I can tell, you know what I'm saying? Based on observing, like I know how it feels to be mistreated. I don't want somebody else to feel the way I feel. You know, I know hurting someone does not benefit him or me. And I don't need a God or anybody to tell me that. You know what I'm saying? I know if I kill someone, that is a horrific thing because I don't want to die. My well-being is based on your well-being. And you don't need a God or any God, because if here's my thing, if there's a God if you believe in a God that's killing anything, then I'm more moral and I'm better than your God. That's just my perspective. I just feel horrible if I hurt someone else. Yeah. It wasn't instilled in me. As a baby, when I was a baby, I didn't know what I knew what pain was as a baby, right? I consciously, I couldn't, I wasn't fully developed, but I knew if I was hungry, I would cry. If I felt pain, I would cry. You knew that as a child. You probably got that instilled from your mother. When she felt pain, you probably felt pain as an infant. So, this has nothing to do with a God. Not the one iota.
Have you told in your life?
Many, you can't count them.
Have you ever stolen something? Yeah. Have you ever used God's name in vain?
Yes, all the time. Probably last night.
Jesus said if you look at a woman and lust for her, you commit adultery with her in your heart. Have you ever looked at a woman with lust?
Yes.
So, Gabriel, I can see why you don't want to believe in God. I'm not judging you. You've just told me you're a lying, thieving, blasphemous adulterer at heart. You've violated 4 of the 10 commandments. You don't want to find God for them.
By the definition of your 10 commandments, I'm not a good person.
That's right.
But what if those 10 commandments don't define if you're a good person?
They do.
You believe that they do. I
well,
don't
you
believe
they do. Is it wrong to lie?
Not necessarily.
Is it wrong to steal?
Not necessarily.
And here's the thing, even in the Christian, the God in the Christian Bible, didn't he put a lying spirit in somebody's mouth? So the God of the Bible has broken like all the commandments, right? He coveted Joseph's wife. He's killed. You know what I'm saying? This is wild. So it's wild. So the God of the Bible wants people to obey his commandments, but he breaks them. Breaks them just willingly, just easily breaks them. This is wild.
Wrong to rape women.
Okay, yes.
Is pedophilia wrong?
Yes.
Is adultery wrong?
Yes, sure.
So,
if you believe that you should
you've
be
got
in a
an
monogamous
intuitive
relationship.
knowledge of right and wrong. You know what your conscience is? You know what the word conscience means? It means with knowledge. Con is with science of knowledge. You have an intuitive knowledge of right and wrong based on the 10 commandments. But the Bible says you're in a state of enmity towards God. You don't want his moral law telling you what to do because it makes you feel guilty, and that's not a good feeling.
No, it doesn't make me feel guilty at all.
I'm not here to convince you God exists because I know you intuitively know God exists. But you deny it because of your sense of guilt, because it's moral responsibility.
I'm gonna hit him with the
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm gonna hit him with that.
No!
Yeah, no.
Stop the cap.
Stop the cap, yeah.
Is it wrong to lie?
Not necessarily.
Is it wrong to steal?
Not necessarily.
Is it wrong to rape women?
Okay, yes.
Is pedophilia wrong?
Yes.
Is adultery wrong?
Yes, sure.
So,
if you believe that you should be in
you've
a
got an
monogamous
intuitive
relationship.
knowledge of right and wrong. You know what your conscience is? You know what the word conscience means? It means with knowledge. Con is with science of knowledge. You have an intuitive knowledge of right and wrong based on the 10 commandments. But the Bible says you're in a state of enmity towards God. You don't want his moral law telling you what to do because it makes you feel guilty, and that's not a good feeling.
No, it doesn't make me feel guilty at all.
I'm not here to convince you God exists because I know you intuitively know God exists. but you deny it because of your sense of guilt, because there's moral responsibility. I'm here to show you of your terrible danger, that if you die in your sins, God's going to give you justice, whether you believe in Him or not. He gave you a conscience so you know right from wrong. You're without excuse. You've committed adultery in your heart. You're a liar, a thief by your own admission. You've blasphemed the name of the God that lavished His goodness upon you. You're without excuse on Judgment Day. I'm saying, I don't want you to go to hell. It grieves my heart. God provided a Savior so your sins can be washed away. That's why Jesus died on the cross.
Hold on.
You and I broke.
Hold on. He provided a Savior, right? So God created sin. He he created something that he said that we violated. And so he gave his son, he gave himself, he sacrificed himself to himself, for himself or something, right? This is wild, right? For something that he created. So this is a big mess that he created, but we get punished for it. Make it make sense. I said on earth, if God wants to guide it, will happen. So you're saying God intervenes in things today. Like what, for example? Like what can you give me an example of what God has done here within the last year that you can prove to say that was God that did it? Like, and then could you tell me what mechanism you're using to decide that was God? If you created people and He's omniscient, then He knew all the suffering He would cause. That would make Him the most evil thing in existence. I mean, that's logic, right, Peter? That's logic. If He created people and He's omniscient, then He knew the suffering He would cause. Exactly. That's logic. I'm still trying, if He's this all-powerful, I'm trying to figure out why He doesn't end suffering. I know Michelle says because He gave you a choice. Well, that choice it obviously wasn't a choice, because He knew when He created us, He knew it was going to happen. So as He was creating us, He knew that He was going to punish us. This is wild.
God's law, Jesus paid the fine. That means God can legally dismiss your case, Gabriel. Every sin you've ever committed can be washed away in an instant.
Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. My light went out. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
But if He doesn't, what does this all have to do with
That isn't my problem, because I know you know God exists because God gave you a conscience.
No, you don't know anything.
Yes,
about
I
what
do.
know. No,
Let me tell you how I know. Gabriel, if a surgeon opens you up, he doesn't go searching for your spleen or your liver. He knows exactly where they're placed, because we're all the same. We're the same physically, and we're the same in our psyche or our soul. You have an intuitive knowledge of right and wrong. you've got a will to live, and you've got a knowledge of God,
Has anybody
because
ever
God's
found a
given
soul?
light to every
When
man.
a surgeon opens you up, he knows exactly where to find your heart, he knows exactly where to find your spleen. Does he know exactly where to find your soul?
This UCLA professor didn't believe in the soul. I said one thing to him that changed his mind in a second. I said, do you know the word soul and the word life are synonymous in the Bible? He said, I believe in the soul then. Because you've got a life, it's what motivates your body, and what looks out your eyes. It's what
This
shoots
guy,
through your mouth,
yeah, this
it's what
guy
hears
is,
through your ears. Your soul is your life.
So point it out.
And Jesus said, what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole
What?
world and loses his own
Bro,
soul?
what are you talking about, man?
Please think about this. And then your name will mean something. You'll be a messenger from God, taking the gift of everlasting life to other human beings that are dying at 150,000 a day. So please think about this. Will you at least do that?
Yeah, I've thought about it. Trust me, I've thought about it, my brother. I mean, what is this? Okay, that was it. Yeah, I've thought about it. I've thought about it. You probably can tell I've thought about it. I know. I do not need a God to not mistreat people. I do not need a God. You won't feel horrible to hurt someone trying to harm you or your children, Susan. But again, okay, yes, I would. I still protect them, but I wouldn't want to. Yeah. I wouldn't want to do it either. Yeah, who would want to? First of all, that would just be petrified. If somebody hurt your children, first of all, you would feel just horrible that somebody did it, and then you're going to feel horrible because you got to do something to them. Or maybe you wouldn't, but I mean, in order to protect your children, you would have to do something horrible, horrific, and that will be with you for the rest of your life. Like if you had to kill somebody for protecting your children, that is not going to just go away. To kill somebody, yeah, that is big. That should be the hardest thing to do on the planet. But if you look at history, if you observe us today, it seems like it's so easy to kill someone. It seems like the easiest thing in the world to do. Like I was talking earlier, people kill each other with tennis shoes. I've been around people that have gotten into a fist fight over $1. Small change, man. Also, God never wants his creation to be in hell. People choose to be there. But Michelle, he knows that we're going to go to hell before he even creates us. Or as he's creating us, he knows that we're going to go to hell. So why I don't get it. I don't understand. It's like we have no choice. My question would be, why doesn't he just create us to be good all the time? Where does this choice come from? If he knows what we're going to be. And then why punish us? If he knows how we're going to be, because he created us this way. He created us this way. If he knows this, why punish us? In 58 years, I've never hit a single person. If I had a choice between killing or dying, I'll take dying any day. Yeah. I don't want to kill anybody else, and I sure don't want anybody to kill me. But people died in the name of Islam. People have been slaughtered in the name of Christianity, in the name of Judaism. These people have been slaughtered based on these so-called beliefs, Michelle. Why does your God want us to suffer forever and ever, Michelle? He knows, but you, the one who chose to be evil, won't go to heaven. He knows before he created us, right? He's all knowing. He knew when he was creating us that we were going to be who we are. So why? And here's my question: why even create hell? And then why not make it so? Okay, you see that I've done wrong. Why not, soften our hearts, or come down and rewind time and make it so we don't do wrong? Why does he still allow this suffering to happen? This is my question. Why? Just why? So, Michelle, let me ask you this, Michelle, does God have the power to eliminate evil or eliminate suffering? Does God have the power to eliminate suffering? If he's omniscient, he knew who would go to hell before they created. Yeah. That's why the big number won't be in heaven, But from what I understand, Jeffrey Dahmer, he asked for forgiveness. He probably seems like he'll be there as long as you ask for forgiveness. We watched a video yesterday where he was talking about Jesus is the way and the light. I'm paraphrasing, but my question still lies: does God have the power to eliminate suffering? Couldn't he make us immortal? Why didn't God make us immortal? And then why does he make our bodies so soft? Like, couldn't he make, you know what I'm saying? Why did he make the prostate so bad for men? Why do women get cervical cancer? Why is all these bad things? Like, I didn't choose, like cancer. Did we choose to get cancer? You know what I'm saying? Where does that come from? And then why are there like earthquakes and tornadoes killing people, or hurricanes and tsunamis, and typhoons? You know what I'm saying? Why did he make that? Thunderstorms. See, Michelle, this is nonsensical, man. It seems illogical, but yeah, and that gentleman here, he was just yelling. This guy here, the guy was on here, he's lost. He's lost. I'm gonna just say that he's lost on this video, but good stuff. Anyway, look, guys, I'm gonna end it right there. I'm gonna call it. I've been on for 4 hours the last couple of nights, but tonight I'm calling it short. I think I'm gonna go. If y'all are into some gaming, I might be over at my gaming channel. I'm probably gonna do some gaming over there, and give the God talk a break for a minute. Like, I'm going over to my gaming channel to play a game that worships killing, right? That's for Supreme Being, he'd be lucky to get an F minus. he get a U. He gets a U. He gets unsatisfactory, or I for incomplete. Yes, he does have the power to do whatever he wants. Remember, when he talks about the example of the students. Okay, so if he has the power to eliminate suffering, why doesn't he eliminate suffering? Does he not want to eliminate suffering? Again, so he's actually sitting back watching children be killed. And like, what does he say when he sees another child dies? Is he like, okay, there's another child dying. Oh, well, he should have worshipped me. Is that what he's saying? Anyway, but yeah, I'm going to end it there, guys. Have a great day. You too, Susan, Michelle, Peter, y'all have a good night. I'm about to close it out. I'm most likely be back tomorrow talking basically about the same thing. I got to find some other videos. But these talks are very good. I really enjoy them. And, yeah, so probably tomorrow around the same time, around 3, 4, somewhere in there maybe. Sometimes, sometime, or, I get wishy-washy. I might just fall asleep. I don't know. But hey, yeah, it's always nice talking to you guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening or morning or wherever you are. I hope y'all have a great time. And I wish the best for all of you. For all of you. With or without a God, I wish you the best. Have a good one, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Hey, man, thank you, Michelle. Y'all have a good night.